Good morning, Trevor. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a great honor and I appreciate it. And you're coming to us from the beautiful state of Utah. We were
Yeah.
talking off air about this really nowheresville of a town that you guys are situated in with great history to it, though.
Great history. Yeah, we're located in Fruit Heights, Utah. For those of you who don't know, which are probably most of you, it's about 25 minutes north of Salt Lake City. Just a little town up nestled into the hills and the mountains of Utah, and beautiful, beautiful area. But we are the only Mountain Ops, my company, we're the only real estate that's there for commercial. Everything around us is just all residential, and then there's this big historic building that we're a part of, that where they used to process all the cherries from the cherry orchards back in the early 1900s. And so that's where we're located. So
Oh, that's insane.
yeah.
How did you find the place?
It's interesting. My wife actually, it went from being a cherry factory back in the early 1900s, then it was sold to a lady that ran a cute little boutique out of it, which the building is a big rock and timber structure. It's very masculine, very, it's built into the mountain. It's on Mountain Road. Mountain Ops is kind of it's more of a masculine brand. We have a lot of women that buy through us as well, but the brand looks and feels kind of more masculine. And so when she called me and she said, "Hey, I'm up at the Rock Loft is the name of the building, and this boutique, it was, I think, Secret Haven or something like that." She's like, "I'm up at Secret Haven Boutique. It's for sale. You should come up here." It's because Mountain Ops, we were just bursting at the seams from where we were, our location closer to Salt Lake City, and we were looking for a new building to situate ourselves in. And so when she said it's this boutique, and I thought, well, that's not right for Mountain Ops. She said, "No, you need to drive up here right now." And so I drove up, pulled up into this gravel parking lot, but there was this massive rock and timber structure. Not massive, but it's about 12,000 square feet, and it's very prominent in this neighborhood because you're driving through the street and there's just all these houses, and then all of a sudden there's the Rock Loft.
Right.
And I knew it was ours, so I called my partners. They met me over there, and we signed a deal, and we were renovating that place for about a year and a half. We've been in there now for about 6.5 years, and a big portion of the main entrance is a gym, so that we can bring in the community. Yeah, allow our team to work out and get their physical fitness in for the day, but also our marketing team uses it for photo and video assets, and we hold a lot of events there. And then there's a little makeshift section in the back where they actually used to store all the cherries, where we set up our Operation Conquer Hunger assembly lines. We bring in youth groups and teams and clubs and such. And about one night a week, we have groups come in and we'll pack a few thousand meals. And that's a very small amount of what we do with our Operation Conquer Hunger, which I'm sure we'll get into. But
Yeah.
at most of those events, we'll pack 50, 60,000 meals at a shop. But we have this all set up with the gym and then the Conquer Hunger assembly line. And then our offices are all upstairs, and a little store for the community to come and buy from, which gets used quite often by the community around there. They love that we've kept the historic nature of that building, because a lot
Right.
of them, for them, that's kind of this iconic building in the community. So it's been fun to be a part of.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Boy, that sounds really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a picture of it. I guess it's probably on your website. I can go take a look at it, but
Yeah.
it
It's
sounds
a
really
beautiful
cool.
building.
Yeah, it reminds me. I once worked in a building in Golden, Colorado that was known as the Armory,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was. They always claimed it was the oldest, or yeah, I think the oldest cobblestone building west of the Mississippi. And
Wow.
I was kind of like, well, so what? Who cares? Who builds buildings out of cobblestones
Yeah.
anyway?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like a real masculine looking building. It's the Armory, and even though we
That's
were a tech company, it was like, yeah, this is a whole building's built out of stones. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's our building as well. They call it Farmington Rock that it's built out of. And it's I live in Farmington, and then Fruit Heights is just a 7-minute commute from my home. But the earlier settlers of Utah and pioneers, they would build the churches and some of the old historic homes with this Farmington Rock they pull out of the mountain. And
Wow.
that's what this building is built from. So when we have visitors come to Mountain Ops, they know what Mountain Ops is all about, the outdoors and the hunting and different outdoor activities that we're involved in. When they walk in, there's just this powerful feeling of like, okay, this building is fit for this culture and what we're building and helping people conquer more in life. And so
Right.
there's actual, sometimes people just say, hey, we just need a place to work. Well, we actually create an experience out of it. And so when our team comes to work, they feel it. When visitors come, they feel the power of the culture that we've created,
Yeah.
even just from the walls that they're stepping into.
Right.
So
Yeah, and what a great work environment. I mean, you've like, offered the opportunity for everybody to work out and
yeah.
enjoy the outdoors a little bit there, which is it's too rare in corporate culture today. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it's a unique culture at Mountain Ops. We call it the Conquer More culture, and every month we split it up into four quadrants for goals, personal goals, and team goals that are spiritual, physical, mental, and social. And so we work together as a team. Everyone has accountability partners, and so we just believe that you can't give what you don't have. And so if that's what we're going to offer as far as wellness, overall wellness for people in their life through the products and services that we offer, we better be living it ourselves. And so we create a structure and a culture that allows us to enjoy that and kind of dive in and dig into it so that we can live it ourselves and then practice what we preach. So
Yeah. So with these four quadrants, as you call them, how much time do you guys spend on that? I mean, I assume this is, work time where people are actually focusing on their overall well-being as opposed to, the corporate goal, so to speak. I mean, I know there's a net gain overall, but
yeah.
still, how much time do you guys spend on each of these?
Yeah, and I believe the corporate goals, financials, and everything are greatly impacted by focusing on these
Oh,
areas.
yeah,
If the
sure.
team enjoys what they're doing, they feel fulfilled by it. They're progressing personally and as a team. They're gonna it's gonna yield a better result for the this business that we're building. And so we yesterday was Tuesday. Every Tuesday morning we come together. We're on a hybrid schedule, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, everyone's in the office. We bookend the week with, you can work from home or the office.
Okay.
And but Tuesday morning is our morning huddle. We come together and we start that day with a prayer and kind of our coming back together for the week together as a team. And so our number one core value is actually recognizing God, which is unique, and it's just something we don't shy away from. And one of the ways we do that is by saying a team prayer together, asking for a blessing upon the week,
Right.
the efforts that we have, the meetings that we'll have for, a little bit of extra guidance and direction, help us overcome the challenges and those types of things. So we start out in that spiritual quadrant. And then every month, the team has just a randomized accountability partner that they are supposed to focus on those quadrants. And so they come together with that accountability partner. We've been doing this for about 8 years,
Hmm.
and they say, okay, I'm gonna work on this one thing. It's not like, hey, here's 10 things in the spiritual or in the physical that I want to do. No, it's conquering more is a little better today than yesterday, a little better tomorrow than
Right.
today. It's progress, and over perfection. And so it's taking something in that, not that you're already doing really well. It's something that needs to stretch you and say, okay, on the spiritual front, I need to dive into the scriptures. I need to meditate more. I need to focus some time on that. In the spirit or in the physical, I'm not doing a great job with my macros. I need to track those. I need some help on that. And so we
Right.
kind of talk through that. That's one thing in each of those quadrants. And then right in the middle, a fifth goal is our core value of the month. We have 12 core values at Mountain Ops. And so there's a lot, but there's one for every month. And so
Yeah.
we're setting 5 goals for the month. And we kind of consider Mountain Ops a university of life where people can come together. And yeah, we have a goal to sell product to improve lives. Our mission is to improve lives through those products. But let's do that by improving our lives as well. Let's take the product. Let's do the physical. Let's focus on the spiritual. When our customers get involved in it that way with us, and we do these Conquer Fitness challenges. The challenge is a fitness transformation, but we have them focus on those four quadrants and they report back to us. And there's a big check at the end for a male and female contestants that win. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
interesting
Uh,
as you see the essays come in, they send in their before and afters, and there's an awesome physical transformation. But the essays that come in are very much not about the physical. The physical has created an emotional and a mental state for them to really connect spiritually and socially and with their family, with their God, with their community, that it's just incredible to see those transformations. Our last winner, his name was James Stone. He was from Texas. Actually, this is 2 years ago. And his essay said, I am feeling happy for the first time in my life. And this is by associating with a supplement brand. And you don't see that often, but
no.
somebody feeling happy. And this guy he was an alcoholic from the age of 12, like didn't go a day without it. And He saw our brand. He saw this logo that I'm wearing on my chest online, had no idea what it was about, but he thought it looked cool. So he clicked on it, went to our website, and we were offering this Conquer More Fitness Challenge. And he told his wife, he's like, "Hey, babe, I'm going to join this and I'm going to win it." And she kind of like rolled her eyes a little bit. She's like, "Are you going to stop drinking?" And he's like, "Right now." And it was right then. After, he's close to 40 years old. He's been drinking since he's 12, just miserable in life. And his life transformed that night. He didn't pick it up, the bottle, for the last 2 years. He's been sober. And he's happy, and he has connection with family, connection with God, connection to his community. So that part of our culture and how much time we spend on it, it's almost the majority of our time is spent there. Not that we're sitting there talking about our goals all day long, but we're emphasizing it. And then at the end of the month, we can come together and say, okay, as a pair, you and your accountability partner, who all completed this month, and what was the result? And then we give away rewards and such to our team that completed every month.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, there's an incentive as well, but the greatest incentive is having the capability and the ability and the empathy and all that comes in with participating in it, that we can offer to our community.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's so awesome. I love hearing all those aspects there. Those are some great stories there. And this guy from Texas here, for instance, I mean, I think in a lot of things, I mean, you guys are, working on yourselves, your community and everything. But when you hear that you've affected one person out there, it really makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah,
obviously there are probably a lot more who you don't even hear from who have
yeah.
been positively impacted by the messages you guys are sending out. But when you hear the story of just that one person, it just validates everything you do, doesn't it?
I 100% agree. And I honestly, I told him, and I've told everyone else that comes through that transformation process, like, this business was built for you. Like, this is
Right.
for you. And you're the one that I'm focused on right now. And that's how we've built our business, from the individuals within the walls of Mountain Ops. We're a one-on-one relationship build. And we found ways to scale that by having, events and such, where people can come in and get involved and understand the heart and soul. But when it comes down to it, this business started honestly for one person. That person was my father. The first product that I created, it was for him. And then it's inspired this movement, this community build, that's allowed us to connect with other individuals. And for each of those individuals that have these touch points with us, it's been built for them. And it's been
Yeah.
incredible to build those relationships. And then through those relationships, we connect and conquer, and we build community that has longevity. And that's what we're about, is long lasting relationships. And so that's why we don't shy away from saying, hey, here's our core values, here's who we are. We're not hiding behind a screen.
Right.
Come experience life with us. You'll find that we're very imperfect, but we're people that are striving to do what's right for the people around us. And that's first and foremost what we're about.
Absolutely. No, that community aspect is so huge, and it's amazing. In this day and age of social media followers, everybody just wants to gather, tens of thousands of followers on their Instagram, their TikTok, whatever it is, and but they're not really personal. They're just, just names on a list, if you would. Whereas when you have a community, you have that different kind of connection that is so much more valuable.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's incredible.
that's cool.
So,
I had a interesting experience this weekend. I was running the heavy half in Leadville, which run up and down Mosquito Pass,
yeah.
15.5 miles, and I was doing it with a group. It's called Team Leadville. We're 30 plus people. We were all running this together to raise funds for a group called Warriors Ascent. They
Oh,
provide holistic programs for veterans and first responders who are enduring post-traumatic stress. And
wow.
we raised 125,000,
That's
and they say, hey, that's, 62 veterans' lives that we have saved with this, which on one hand, it's great, but it's kind of like, out in the cloud here somewhere. Well, okay, yeah, it's a theory. There's 62 lives out there. But while I was at the finish area later on, I had a guy come up, and he and his I'm not sure if his wife or his daughter, just said, I did this race today, and a year ago, I probably wouldn't have even been here.
mm,
That's how close this
wow.
veteran was to having killed himself. And he
Wow.
said he saw us a year ago, and it inspired him to train. He hadn't reached out to us at all, but when he saw myself and one other guy who was wearing our bright yellow shirts that we had, he told me the story, and he said, I'm going to come back with you guys next year. and
Jeez.
basically be part of this community, which was it was just so cool. It was just a total random thing. The guy just you know
That's so
reached
cool.
out to us, and
It's awesome that he saw the example, saw what you guys were doing, was inspired by it, didn't connect with you at the time, but sometimes the actions of others speak louder than words. And so,
yep,
people witnessing people doing things like that and understanding why they're doing it, and then saying, "Okay, I'm going to do this, prove it to myself, prove it to them, get back and come and connect with them." That's incredible, because I think example sometimes is so much more powerful at affecting and changing lives than just speaking to things with people.
very true. Yep, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the reason why I was a high school coach for three
Mm,
decades. And, a lot of times it wasn't the message I was telling them, but they would come up and be my crew when I'm running a 100-mile race or
so
something.
cool.
And, they got to participate in that. And now I see a few of those kids who are running ultra marathons themselves. And it's like, all right, something stuck. You don't think it's
That's
going to stick in the
amazing.
brain of a teenager, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. That's
Yeah, of
incredible.
course. But hey, you touched a little bit before about your Operation Conquer Hunger, and really wanted to kind of jump into that here because that is such an incredible thing that I guess, you've built a culture of that too, of wanting to make a difference in a very, very worthwhile, needed area in this world.
Yeah, it's been an incredible. We often say that it's a small part of what we do, but the biggest part of who we are at Mountain Ops. And it comes from a place of experience and perspective and empathy, because my family was once the family that needed the food support.
Yeah,
Not too long ago, actually, we as an entrepreneur, things don't always pan out the way that you'd expect for them to, or how it's penciled out on paper, and so you shoot for the moon, and you sometimes fall a bit short. And in 2007, that's what happened to my wife and I. We had saved up enough money to go out and start our own business, and we were excited. I come from an entrepreneurial family. We both met working together for my brother, and then got married, and we were excited about this new chapter of life. We had started building our family. We've got four children. At the time, we had a couple with one on the way, and we were just ready to face the world. And so we took the savings that we had and we invested in our first real estate properties, which 2008 was right around the corner, perfect timing.
right.
Took us in the shorts. And then we invested into a franchise that, instead of just buying one franchise and testing it out, see how it goes and scale from there, we bought seven, which was uh,
Ah, okay.
very naive, ambitious, dumb, what you can call it, whatever you want. But I think we needed the pain that was created from that to be experiencing what we're experiencing now. And so I look back and say, I wouldn't have changed anything. I would not want to do it again. But the franchise that we bought into about three months after opening up our doors, it got shut down. The franchise did. It had nothing to do with anything we were doing, but there was an investigation done on the franchise level. And we had to shut our doors, and all of a sudden, working capital and cash flow meant something to me, and I didn't have any of it. Like, I was learning, I was being educated in those, and so we
Wow,
didn't have the staying power. So we had to shut those stores down quicker than it took to get them up and running.
of course.
I had put in inventory to those stores. I'd built those stores out. I had hired seven friends for those stores, and then my wife and I had signed 5-year personal guarantees on each of those retail locations, and those
Hmm.
were 5 to 7 grand a month.
Right.
2008, these real estate landlords were not going to work with us. They were not going to support us. They weren't going to, they couldn't replace us in those locations. And so if I couldn't make the payments, foreclosure default letters were being sent our way. And then liens on our home started to come our way. We couldn't pay our mortgage for a few years. Our house was up for auction multiple times. And then our
Shoot.
daughter ended up in the hospital with some kidney and liver issues. Very young in her, she was only a few months old, and she was deemed uninsurable, because there was a mishap in insurance from going from self or employed to self-employed. And
Oh,
so we just had everything stacked up against us at the time. And I was struggling. I all of a sudden felt like, my roles and responsibility as a husband and father were to provide, preside, and protect. And I started to feel like I was failing in most of those regards.
wow.
And everything just kind of stacking up against us. Food started to become kind of the topic of conversation with my wife and I. There was bills that were going unpaid, but our children had to eat, and so we had actually built up a 1 year's food storage. But tapping into that food storage, we started like cracking our own wheat to add to things to make it, and that doesn't settle well on the stomach. It's hard to go from a certain way of eating to another, and we
Uh,
did it because we had to, but that's kind of what was going on. My ego was in the way, and I didn't want to tell people that, hey, my business had just failed that quickly. And
Right.
so we were just trying to make it on our own for a period of time, but recognizing through that food was the topic of conversation, especially because we had little children. And then we came to find out that in our local community, 1 in 4 kids go home on the weekends without enough food in the pantry. And I always felt like we lived in an affluent, part of town and that people were okay. And come to
Right.
find out, had I opened up and kind of dropped my ego and dropped my guard down, I would have found there was a lot more families facing a similar thing at the same time as us for different reasons. And we could have supported each other a bit more. But we're a faith-based family, a faith-based organization. As I mentioned, with our core value of recognizing God, we relied on our faith as much as we possibly could during that. Just turning to each other. My wife says it best, like during those times where a lot of couples might turn away from each other, we look to each other, and together we look to God. And that was what we did. And we felt like during that God was giving us eyes to see something that we had not yet experienced in life. And there's power in that.
Right.
There's some, if you look at life's perspective moments, and most of them are painful, you're going to see something. You're going to see a wise purpose to it all. And for me and my wife, we saw the need that was around us because we were part of that need. And then all of a sudden, our commitment was that that need would become the gift that we would eventually give. Kind of like the loaves and fishes, as we look to Jesus Christ's story. He took a few loaves and a few fishes, he multiplied them for the masses. All we had at the time were a few loaves and a few fishes. And so we decided, it started with $22. Let's give this $22. This was outside of Mountain Ops. And let's help feed a child for a month. That would provide a meal to a child in Malawi, Africa every day for 30 days. And that's where we started. And then as we got into this industry where we were selling nutritional supplements, especially to a hunting audience who goes out on the mountain to bring home protein for their family,
Yeah.
and there's people that are supplementing for their nutrition $200 a month. But right in the middle of all that, in the mix, there's families that can barely fathom 2 meals a day, or they're struggling to provide ample nutrition to their children. And
Right.
it's happening right here in the United States of America. It's not, yes, you go outside of the United States and you see just poverty beyond anything we've experienced here, but there's children that are suffering, there's families that are suffering, and we knew that because we had experienced it. So we committed to each other to take a few of our loaves and fishes and try to multiply them, never thinking that it would be for the masses. But what we
Right.
do is every order that comes through Mountain Ops or through one of our retailers, we donate a meal to a child or a family in need,
That's
usually through
awesome.
their school programs.
Right.
And we just recently hit the 6 million meal donation point, having donated through what we call our Operation Conquer Hunger. And so it's a beautiful system that our community, our customers are involved in. They buy a product that benefits. I'm drinking one of our hydration products right now. They buy a product that benefits their health and their well-being. And at the same time, we take a portion of that revenue and we put it towards our Operation Conquer Hunger to buy food to to donate to these children and families. And then we come together. Sometimes we just did in the last I think it's 16 days we've held 3 events, and we packed over 150,000 meals at those 3 events.
Wow.
Um, one of them in Idaho, one of them in Utah, one of them in Montana. So it's we're spreading throughout the country. We've done them in South Carolina. We're going to California this fall. We're going to Hawaii next year. It's starting to spread, and then we hold little sub events at our headquarters where our team is able to put hands on this food and pack it and know that it's going to this community in need throughout the country. And so our work and our efforts, it's not just benefiting the lives of those that are taking home a paycheck or a product that's going into somebody's mouth. It's a system that's built to help the most vulnerable and in need in our communities. And now we look back on what we experienced and we see God gave us the eyes to see. He gave us a heart to feel. He gave us a mind to think differently than we had in the past. And
Yeah.
we're putting to work with something that's pretty common. As I speak to individuals throughout the country or groups, I'll ask, how many of you have experienced hunger? How many of you experience financial difficulty? Usually it's night. Everyone's experienced some type of hunger, even if it's just going for a few hours, but financial difficulty, about 90, 95% of the hands go up. And so it's relatable. People have experienced it. So it's not uncommon. But what Mountain Ops is doing to feed hungry fat parents, children, is uncommon. We've taken that experience, we've applied it to our life. And that's what I challenge people to do, is those perspective moments in life that you're afforded, you're granted, that maybe the most difficult thing you've been through, there's a wise purpose. And it may just be what brings about your power to go out and influence and contribute to this world in a meaningful way. Your most powerfully positioned to serve the person you once were. And that's what we're doing. We're helping the person that's in the shoes that we were once in. And we have a responsibility and stewardship over that experience that we don't take lightly. And so it's what I'm most excited about with what we do. It's one of the things people don't aren't super aware of. They've seen the brand, they've seen the product, and until once they find out, okay, my order is also contributing to this. This is incredible. I'm with you for life. Let's go conquer this. So
Yeah,
we're trying to share that message as much as possible so that people know there's something big happening with their contribution to purchasing our product.
absolutely, man. What a great story. I mean, talk about taking the adversity and turning it into a positive. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that's a constant theme in this podcast here for one thing, but in a lot of cases, though, people are taking whatever negatives happen to them and they're, becoming ultra marathoners or Olympic team members, whatever. You're turning it into let's turn it outward. Let's see how much we can take the adversity that you had into something where you were benefiting a much, much wider audience. That's just awesome.
And the more we can do to be healthy, and so we do focus on the physical, but it's like, hey, the more we can be physically, mentally, emotionally there, and the more good we can do in this world. It's great to focus on the ultra marathons and to the weightlifting or whatever it is, because we need healthy bodies and minds. So I
Right.
love that a lot of the stories that you share is it's around people that have internalized things, and they've gone out and they've conquered the world through physical feats and that type of thing. I think it's so important, because without this physical ability to move and think and grow, it's difficult to contribute in a meaningful way. And so
Right.
we definitely see the physical supporting the spiritual and the mental and the social and all that we're contributing to life. So it's awesome.
Without a doubt. Yeah, no, very well put. One question I had for you, Trevor, is
Yeah.
where is the food coming from that you guys are creating these meals out of?
Yeah, it's interesting because the Malawi Africa Fund that we started with $22, that continues to grow today. So we do
Yep.
Malawi Africa. We work with Feeding America, where we are just writing a check, and they usually go through to areas of natural disaster, the country that need, areas of the country that needs it most. And then the food that's here in the community that we hold these big events, and we pack these, we call them pantry packs, and there's about 5 meals that go into it. We're ordering those through Costco's, Sam's Club, Walmart's, just grocery stores, wherever we can get the best deal on the food.
Oh,
Usually
okay.
the school districts are stipulating what we have to put into those packs. And so it's not something that we have like full reign of saying, okay, we're gonna put this or this or that in. They kind of have a system that we adopt and kind of transform to wherever we're at in the country. And
Right.
so if we go to South Carolina and the school district says, hey, we need this much oatmeal in there. We need this many macaronis and cheeses. It's usually foods that a child can add water, put it in the microwave. They don't have to do any cooking on the stove, because a lot of these are elementary school children who are going home, and the parents are usually a split parent home, or the parents are at work while the child is on their own. And so they don't want them having to cook a lot. And so it's usually ready to go type meals, and fruit packs and stuff like that, that we're packing together. In Malawi, Africa, there's a system that the money goes to that, and families are brought into a farming community for a year. They learn to cultivate their own property and their own little plot of land, and they're
Oh, cool.
harvesting food that then's packaged and distributed out throughout the community. And so that's how that works there. And so that's a really cool opportunity to not just write a check, but to see that the families are being educated on how to
Right.
build that, harvest it, create a little business around it. And so it's hit from
Create a
multiple.
long-term solution for them
Yeah,
as opposed to just
100%.
a quick handout. Yeah.
And the handout to these children in the schools here in America, we're putting food in their belly so that they can feel full, they can feel like there's something of substance. But what we're really doing is we're removing a distraction from these kids. You think of a child that goes to school every day and they're hungry. That's the thought that stays in their mind all day long. And
Right.
so by filling a belly, we remove a distraction, and our brand is all about connection. And so we can help that child connect with their teacher, with their student, with their classmates, with sporting or whatever they're doing, and they don't have to have that distraction involved in their life. So we're hopefully inspiring some hope and confidence in these children, that there's somebody looking out for them, somebody providing something for them. We even put a little note in every pack that goes in with a little saying that helps them know that they were born to conquer, and so they can have that little message as well, knowing that okay, somebody's aware of me and my need, and they saw
Right.
me with my hand up, saying, "Just help me a little bit," and now I can focus and concentrate and develop as a child should. So
Oh,
that's
super valuable. Yeah,
helpful.
that's cool. How did you end up getting connected with Malawi? And for those who don't know, it's a little tiny country in southern Africa there. I'm a stamp collector, as some people listening to
Awesome.
this may know. It's my nerd activity. So I do have some stamps from Malawi. It's a former British colony that gained independence, I believe, in the 60s. But it is just a yeah, small country kind of in the middle of southern Africa there. How did you connect there?
It during the struggles that my wife and I were going through, there was an individual from a company called New Skin, big network marketing company in
Yeah,
Utah,
right.
$1 billion company. This individual knew that he didn't know my struggles to the extent that we were going through, but knew I was needing something in my life, and he saw something in me, and he said, "Hey, come and build with me." It was two of them. One of them was their biggest master distributor there. His name's Nathan Ricks. Unfortunately, he just passed away in a plane crash this last year.
Ooh,
And Kenton Worthington, they both kind of took me under their wings and said, "Hey, come and build with us." And I didn't feel right about it. It wasn't my kind of mode of operation. It wasn't my
right,
business model, but they saw something in me and it helped me feel some confidence in myself that I was like, I need to be around people that help me feel this way, that I can take a step forward, I can breathe a little bit. And I didn't have the money to buy in on that opportunity. And so they helped me out. And then they not only did that, they said, we'll guarantee you a monthly income out of our commissions to just come and help. And at the end of that month, they went to write that check, and I was like, "This business opportunity is not for me. So I can't take your check. I know I'm not going to be around here. I don't want to feel like I owe you something." So out of the just the my thought process and my integrity, I was like, "I can't take this from you right now." But during that month that I kind of was mentored by them, they had a program called Nourish the Children, and they were feeding hungry children in Malawi, Africa. For $22 a month, you could provide a meal each day for a child in need there. And
all
I
right,
thought, you know what? My family is in this situation where we're not starving like these children in Malawi, Africa, but we're hungry. It's the
right.
topic of conversation. It's what we're always focused on. If we have an extra $5, that's going to buy us, a hot and ready Little Caesars pizza that Friday night. My kids were gonna just love it, and so that was just it was so relevant at the time that I thought, I told my wife and we talked about it like, let's make this sacrifice of $22, and we really didn't have it, and let's see where it goes, and let's see how we can build upon that over time
Right.
with whatever God allows us to do in this life. Let's try to multiply. And so they introduced me to Malawi, Africa. They introduced me to what they were doing there, and it just stuck. And as we built the business, that Kenton Worthington said, "Hey, I love what you're doing. I'll match everything you're doing in Malawi, Africa." So over time, he was like, he was every time if we wrote $1,000 check, he'd write another thousand,
Wow.
and he just helped support that. So it was incredible that I had individuals that brought me under their wing, taught me what it was to build a business through service, and then showed me what they were doing to help conquer hunger, and it really lit a fire under me knowing that like we're experiencing some of this and we can do something about it, and we're seeing it in our community, so we'll have this be a part of our mission going forward.
Oh, wow. No, that's quite awesome that you had those kind of people also kind of bolstering your efforts there. You just kept encouraging you to grow and expand that whole mission that you've got. That's awesome.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's definitely through connection in life that I've been able to find any type of success. I honestly could not have done what we're doing on my own. And it to me comes down to connection to the team that we've built over time. It comes down to connection with my wife and children, and
Right.
then ultimately my connection with God, who I feel has been the most important and major influence in my life. Just helping me find the right people, helping me find the
Right.
right path, and connecting on the right things that mattered most in my life, that have allowed me to really grasp hold of a mission that I'm willing and able to stand behind. So
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. Well, I mean, the path that you took, from a pretty tough situation, you were an entrepreneur, and those businesses kind of had their roller coaster effect. And I was a franchise owner myself, and when I bought my second franchise, that's when I well, the second franchise has never worked out for me. At
Yeah.
least the first one did, but yeah, the second one was almost too much for me, much less having seven. But it's at some point it led you to starting Mountain Ops, and you have a very unique vision with that as well. I mean, when I was reading about it, I mean, as a ultra endurance athlete myself, I've been exposed to a lot of nutritional products, energy products, and whatnot. But you have a very interesting niche for your products for one thing, but you saw a need out there and you're filling it. So very very cool. How tell me how all that got started, please.
Yeah, it actually like during all that phase where I knew that business that they were kind of taking me under their wings wasn't going to work. It just wasn't me. My father at the time was having some pretty serious heart issues, and he became kind of the goal for the first product was to help him. And it wasn't Mountain Ops at first. This was in 2010. I read a book called No More Heart Disease by Dr. Luis Ignarro. He won the Nobel Prize in 1998. He worked with nitric oxide as a signaling molecule in the cardiovascular system, and my dad's dad died of a heart attack. My mom's dad died of a stroke. I was watching my dad now having a few stents put in his heart. They told him he'd have open heart surgery in 5 years.
Oof.
And I was kind of on this cusp of like, okay, what do I do? We're living life below zero in our bank account now. I've kind of lost mission, and I need mission to be attached to because that's when I'm really driven. And it
Right.
became my father. Obviously I wanted to provide for my family, so they're my most important mission. But then my father kind of became the mission of the product, and so I took that book to a scientist and said, "Hey, can you help me with a concoction and create something that might benefit my father?" And we whipped something up. He put my father on it. Within 3 days, my father started to feel some tingling sensation in his fingers and toes. He was always kind of rubbing his hands, because he couldn't. He had a horrible neuropathy, really bad blood
Oh,
pressure.
okay.
So we put him on that product and actually started selling through doctors' offices. We built the product. When he started seeing results, we thought, okay, we're onto something. Something's going to work with this. And if it's my father that's the mission and my family can ultimately be provided for like, I'm going to go after this. And so that's what we did. And we started building there. After we got about 1,000 doctors under kind of under that brand and things were going well, I went to a marketing agency and asked for some help on that brand. And they were telling me about all the marketing they were doing in the hunting industry. And I thought, is there a place for supplements like this in hunting? I wasn't a hunter. I grew up in the outdoors, grew up here in Utah, skiing,
Right.
biking, hiking, all that type of stuff. But hunting, I was not familiar with. Their eyes just kind of lit up and they said, there's a huge hunter athlete movement right now with brands like Yeti, Under Armour, Sitka. But there's no consumable brand with a product like this leading the way. And my
Huh.
products were built for endurance type athletes and hunters. They go out on the mountains, they've got to endure, they've got to endure the challenge of that hike, of that pack out, whatever it is.
Right.
And those that really want to get in and get after it, they spend some time. And then outside of hunting, they're working 12-hour days, and so their daytime routine on a regular basis is pretty long, and you need the endurance for. So the products I had created and had been selling through doctors' offices just fit right into this culture of endurance athletes out on the mountain. And most of these athletes that we work with, Cam Hanes type, I mean, they're running a marathon a day. They're out there pushing the limits through running as well. They're running the Moab 240. They're doing all these major ultra marathons and such. And
Right.
so they're doing these things almost more regularly than they are hunting, because most hunters hunt 7 to 10 days a year.
Yeah.
But they talk about it, sleep about it, dream about it, all these things the rest of the days. And Mountain Ops, they can pick up this product and it activates and ignites the passion of the hunt within them every single day, even when they're not on the mountain. So, where some of their other products they use just during those 7 to 10 days. So we had something, and we had a community that was just primed for it with this new hunter athlete movement, a little bit, 7 to 10 years behind mainstream when it comes to fitness and that type of thing. So
Yeah.
nobody had really attacked it. These were individuals that weren't shopping at GNC and they weren't working out at Gold's Gym. They were out in God's gym, and people weren't speaking to them. The language wasn't being spoken, but I partnered with a few guys that understood that language. And then it wasn't enough for me to just fuel the passion that these individuals had. I dove headfirst in with my family, and we started to learn what it was to conservation and feeding my family. That was what intrigued me, because I'd gone through this time of hunger. Now I
Right.
could bring home some protein for my wife and children. And so it was just fascinating for me. And we've dove headfirst into it. We've become passionate about every aspect of it, especially the ability to connect with relationships. When you're out on the mountain, you're undistracted from the world, and you're kind of just in God's creations and looking to God. and it's incredible. So we found a niche and we found a community that hadn't been spoken to. 70% of our customers that first year were trying supplements for the first time.
Mm,
So that created an educational hurdle for us. We had to help them understand, like, this is why you need this. This is how it's going to help you in your passion and your daytime. And it was incredible to see people like seeing the benefit out on the mountain. But what I loved most was when at hunt expos and such, they'd come up to us, they'd pull out their phone and they'd show me their before and after photo. And they would, with tears, these are big burly guys. These are mountain men, and
right.
they've got tears in their eyes and they're saying, you should see me as a husband and as a father right now. I'm chasing my kids around the yard. I'm chasing them up the stairs at night. I'm reading to them. I'm more focused. I'm more intentional in their lives because I'm healthy. I'm here. I'm present. I'm where my
Wow.
feet are. And that was our mission. It was, yeah, let's help people with their physical abilities, but we know what transpires outside of that when people are able to do more physically and mentally and socially because their body's taken care of. And that's just been our drive. That's been our passion. And so to see people's lives change and connections mean more, especially the connections that matter most in their lives, all of a sudden be enhanced because of this brand, Mountain Ops. And so we branded it Mountain Ops. Mountains represents it's an abbreviation, MTN, for the mountains we play in, we're out in, but it also is symbolic to life and the mountains we climb and the achievements we're going after and the struggles we face.
Right.
And how can our ops, the outdoor performance supplements and everything that we offer help you climb your mountain, help you conquer the mountain? And so, yeah, I've that's been our focus to help people conquer more. I just finished up writing a book and we're launching it in a few weeks called The Conquer Code, and it's all about these four quadrants of life, of the spiritual, physical, mental, social, and how we've utilized that in our core values at Mountain Ops to
Yeah.
help people conquer those mountains in life. And so we're super passionate about how we're doing this because it's really different from what this saturated supplement market space is a lot of people approach it the same way, and there's not a lot of loyalty. It's fragmented. People kind of jump from one brand to the next. But we want to break down those walls and say, look, here's what we're here to help you do. And
Right.
not only are we here to help you do this and to focus on that aspect of wellness and well-being in life in those four quadrants, but we're going to bring you into a system that's going to help those that are in need in our community as well. And so very different approach than what most are taking. And we're proud of the work that we've done and we're excited about where the future is going. And it started with my father, and then it continues to the masses, hundreds of thousands of people that have now been blessed, and millions of people that have been blessed with the food that we provide. And my father unfortunately passed away this last year, and it had
Oh,
nothing to
man.
do with his heart. In fact, he never had to have that open heart surgery that the doctors told him he would have to have. He had a fall down some stairs and broke his neck and didn't survive it. It was very tragic.
Oof.
They
Yeah. So sorry.
resuscitated him. And even on the hospital table, the doctor said his heart was incredibly strong.
Mm,
But it was just an accident that he couldn't
right.
survive. But he continues to be an inspiration for me today and helping me feel like this was something we started for him, and there's thousands of people being benefited from it. And so
Right.
it's awesome to continue on that legacy as well.
Oh, well, very cool story. So sorry about your father there. And
Thank you.
I mean, sounds like he was a great man who, lived his best life thanks to what you discovered out there.
He had an incredible life. So
Yeah. So yeah, as you mentioned, the supplement world is very crowded out there.
yeah.
What sets your products apart? I mean, if I'm a hunter and I could take a few power bars with me or a few energy gels or some of the things that a lot of us ultra marathoners and other ultra endurance athletes use. What sets Mountain Ops' products apart?
Yeah. Our top three products all contain the same base formula, and it starts with that product I created for my father. There's a certain amount of arginine and citrulline in that product, and it's non-caffeinated. That one, it's called Enduro in the Mountain Ops product lineup. But it dilates the blood vessels and arteries, allows for more blood flow and circulation, elasticity, and oxygenation, so that you can endure. You can go out and have that level of performance for endurance that you need, whether you're running, biking, hiking, hunting. And then what we've done is we've taken that same base cardiovascular formula, which is in the ingredients. A lot of pre-workouts and such will have some L-citrulline, L-arginine for nitric oxide boost, usually not in the amounts that we put in there. And we feel like it's a scientific amount to increase that production of nitric oxide for a prolonged period of time. And that's why it's so good for this endurance aspect of life.
Yeah.
We took that same product or a mix of ingredients and we added it to what we call Ignite, which is our number one selling product. And we added some caffeine so that if people want a little bit of spike of energy, they can get that through a caffeine anhydrous. And then we put a blend of nootropics. We call it our Brain Ignite blend that helps with cognitive function, mental clarity, and focus. And so you get this cardiovascular, energy, and Brain Ignite blend, which is very unique to the industry, where a lot of people are going and they're unfortunately buying a ton of these energy drinks off the shelves and just throwing those down all day long. Well,
Right.
you get one of our products, you get the energy boost you need, but it's a healthy energy. You get, I'm just doing a thumbs up on a video here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Where'd that come from?
and uh, and you get that cardiovascular. For us, it starts in the heart, and your heart
Yeah,
being that most important organ and muscle that we need to protect and watch over. And if we can protect that, the longevity of life that we can provide is incredible. So you get that kind of 3-in-1. And then we have a pre-workout called Yeti. And again, it has that same enduro-based cardiovascular performance ingredients, and then some beta alanine, niacin, glutamine, creatine to help the muscles not fatigue as quickly. And so that's where we kind of separate ourselves. And we like to energize people's day. Energy is a huge franchise of our product segment. And
right,
so we wake people up in the morning, we give them that energy, but then we like to put them to sleep at night. So we have a product called Slumber. And the Slumber is not just melatonin. There is some melatonin, but there's hops extract, there's magnesium, theanine, and you can take it in a powder and drink it like a hot cocoa or a mocha flavored at night. It's just very, very calming and puts you to sleep. Or you can, if you're out on the mountain and you don't want to drink something and be waking up to get out of the tent to go pee, you can do the gummies. And the gummies do incredibly well for us. But we have a hibernate blend, is what we call it in those products, where helps people get a restful night's sleep. And then there's a spectrum of products in between, where it's whether it's proteins, meal replacements, multivitamins, that people can buy, but usually they come through the doors. Kind of the gateway product is our Ignite with the energy, and everyone's
right.
like they're lacking energy these days, and so they come through. They taste and feel the difference. Our flavors are incredible. What I'm drinking here right now is it's called Hydrate, and we just launched it last year, and it's an incredible product. A lot of the hydration products out there have a lot of sugars in them.
Sure.
Ours has 1 gram of sugar, but it's D-ribose, and it's specifically in there to help hydrate the cells of your body, and so that has a specific function outside of just sweetening the product. But it tastes incredible, and most of Americans are walking around dehydrated, and they don't know why they're so tired. They don't know why they're feeling in a slump. A lot of times it's just hydration, and so we feel like we've got a heavy emphasis on that right now. And we do, you mentioned protein bars and energy bars and such. We offer those as well, so that when they're out on the mountain, easy, ready to go, we've got some
Yeah,
incredible performance bars, venture bars, that our community just loves. And then the biggest differentiator outside of that, because you can look at a lot of supplement brands, they're going to say, hey, we've got the best ingredients and the best flavor. We really do feel like we've got that. But everyone's going to say the same thing. We've got the best ingredients and the best flavor.
sure.
Well, we just happen to feed hungry children with every order that you have as well. And so, biggest differentiator, come be a part of this community, help us make a difference, not just in your life, but in the lives of those that really need this support. And so, as a for-profit business, we're willing to cut into our margin a bit, because this life is too short, and it's not all about money and greed and making it, over the other. We feel
Right.
a responsibility to not give back. It's kind of giving what's already not ours. It's utilizing those loaves and fishes, those resources that we feel we're being blessed
Yeah.
with, and we're multiplying them. So we invite our community to come and be a part of helping us conquer more, conquer hunger, connect and conquer. It's all about conquering.
Right.
And for me, it comes down to the Conquer Code, which is what my book is called. And that code is very specific to me personally. It's my Savior Jesus Christ. It's a connection with him that has allowed me to conquer in an incredible way, that means more to me than anything else in life.
Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. What I like, you talked about your energy drink Ignite there. That it blows me away how reliant people are in this country on things like the Red Bulls and the
Yeah.
rock stars and all the I mean, you read the list of ingredients on those and it's appalling. And
Yeah.
you know, things like the taurine and the what's the other one I'm thinking of? But they're just different kinds of caffeine.
Yeah.
And people are just getting so over caffeinated.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess I kind of find a lot of my energy naturally, if you would. I mean, I'm up
Good.
up when it gets light in the morning, and which works out perfectly this time of year because I can beat the heat and get my workouts in. But
Yeah. That's awesome.
but also I may have to try your nighttime formula there.
I'll send you some of the products so you can test it out. But I agree with you. Like a supplement is a supplement for a reason. Like
Right,
there's if you we always recommend like the best way to feel energized for tomorrow is to get a good night's sleep tonight, right?
right. Yep.
And that's a natural way to approach life and wellness and well-being. And so we believe we have products that can help supplement and give you kind of a competitive edge and enhance what you're doing. But we first and foremost tell people like through nutrition and exercise, like you've got to be doing that. There is no magic bullet pill or anything you can drink that is going to allow you to just sit on the couch and not do anything. It's not that way. That's not our lifestyle. So let's use this as a supplemental way to increase performance and ability and capability. And we've got products that we know will enhance that. But first and foremost, you got to be doing your part, and then
Oh yeah.
we'll help you with the supplementation because there is a lot that people can't get enough of, even through some of their nutrition and some of their daytime routine, and we're just so overworked and busy and everything. So it's like, yeah, I believe in the power of the right supplements at the right time, but we've got to do our part, and
Absolutely.
so, anyways, that's definitely what we practice and preach. So,
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, there are times. I mean, this time of year, I am horribly sleep deprived because, again, I'm waking up or I wake up when it gets light, and this time of year, that's 5 in the morning. So I get
yeah,
up and do my workout. But at the same time, I can't get to sleep at night because of all the stinking fireworks going off right now. So
that's
it's like,
funny.
yeah, I can't go to sleep until like 11 o'clock, even with the
Yeah,
earplugs on. Sometimes it's later than that, and then I'm waking up at 5. So yeah, I have this little period of sleeplessness here that's just.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm more productive. I'm up. Yeah, that's a bad
I
argument.
think it's
You
great
know,
if you can do
sleep.
that. There's get a lot done before the world even wakes up is incredible.
Oh
So.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's true. That's so you sell these through your own website, I guess. I mean, are you like can people find you on places like Amazon or any other sites, or is it pretty much strictly through Mountain
Yeah,
Ops?
no, we mountainops.com, mtnops.com, but then we sell heavily through Amazon. And we have about 30% of our business is sold through retail store locations. We are big in like the farm and fleet and hardware type stores, which is a unique space to find us. But we've got a lot of ranchers, cowboys, hunters that go and frequent those stores.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
sports and warehouses, Shields, Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, stores like I'm trying to think of some up in your area, but like Murdoch.
Murdoch's. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. In
Yep.
fact, last week, here's a quick little story. A year and a half ago, we were at an event where Murdoch's, the owners of Murdoch's were there. We packed 50,000 meals at this event. They came up to us, three of the owners, at the end of that event and kind of cornered me and my wife. And they wrote us a $34,000 check. And they said,
Wow.
we want you to use this to buy food. We want you to come to Bozeman, Montana, where our headquarters are. And we want to bring our leadership team and some of our partners together to pack food for the Gallatin Valley in Bozeman, Montana, for their food bank. And so last Friday, I flew up there with my little daughter, Savvy. She's 11 years old, and with some of my team, and we put on an event and we packed 60,000 meals with with the funds that they gave us. But they're an incredible partner of ours, and the orders that come through their stores as well generate a revenue source for us to buy food. But then on top of that, they wrote us a check to bring
Oh,
that event to them. So Cow Ranch stores, D&B Supply, like those are some that we've held these events with as well recently. Big R, you'll find us in. So a lot of these types of stores, you're gonna find Mountain Ops, and that helps support the Conquer Hunger initiative as well.
wow. What an interesting niche. I mean, like you say, the supplement industry, the fuel industry, just it doesn't really has never found that market, if you would.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you too, have you had a lot of these your products tested in labs? And bring that up because of this whole controversy that's taken place recently with Spring Energy. I don't know if you followed that at all.
Not heavily. I mean, I've heard the headlines and such, but yeah, I mean, every batch of our product is sent off to a third party lab for testing. In fact, we have some inventory issues right now. We've got some heavy sellers that we need to get back in stock, and they're there, they're ready, but we don't release them until they've gone through the batch testing. And so it's always been an important part of what we've done to just ensure the credibility and the trust and the efficacy of our product to have some third-party testing. On top of that, you know, Amazon recently has come out and they're cracking down on it, and so you have to show those test results in order to
Ah,
even sell on Amazon now. So it hasn't been that way in the past. We've just always kind of taken the proactive approach. If I'm going to give this to my father, if I'm going to let my children take it, if and then you know go out and put my face and name on it, I've got to know and trust that this is all good and safe. And that's not how the supplement industry has always approached things. There's a lot of people hiding behind screens selling product that shouldn't be sold. And so I would just say to listeners as well, yeah, dive into the company, dive into their core values, their beliefs, and how they approach life and business and how they interact with people. And for me, reputational risk is the biggest risk factor of them all.
oh
And
yeah.
so I just, there's no cutting corners. And so, yeah, you can rest assured when you're working with Mountain Ops that there's been third party testing with the product as well.
No, that's excellent. Yeah, and just for those who don't know, Spring Energy's taken a lot of hits lately and it's a product I've used. Basically, what was printed on their package was not what was actually inside. Jason Koop, a very well-known ultramarathon coach, sent these products out to be tested and found out that the calories and the carbohydrates that they were advertising on their package was not there. And
Yeah.
I think anecdotally, I used their products and kind of thought sometimes, huh, I'm not really kind of getting out of this what I think I
Uh,
should. But you kind of think, well, that's me. You don't really think, oh, it's because this product doesn't have um, the, the honesty, I guess you might say. So that's why I'm glad to hear that you guys have
yeah.
taken those extra steps. Spring
Yeah.
Energy has not been very apologetic about it. Said now they've reformulated their products, and I think, well, is anybody going to believe them after that? Whereas you're putting yourself out there, as you say. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it takes time to build trust and then a day to ruin it. I don't know what the actual quote is, but man,
right. Yep.
like I said, it started with my father. It had to be something I could trust, put my name on, and know that we're offering what we say we're offering has been at the top. I mean, product safety, efficacy, it has to be there, else a brand doesn't mean anything to anyone, you know. So
Right.
we've got an incredible brand that really is in touch with our consumer. But if the product didn't work, and it wouldn't have any staying power.
Right, right. Absolutely. No. So I know we've glossed through this pretty quickly here, and I know you've got a time limit here, but what have we missed here, Trevor? This has been a great
Oh man.
conversation, but I'm sure
No,
there's a lot we haven't touched on.
we could talk for hours, and I've got a
Yes.
lot of questions for you as well and your experience. But you know, I don't know if we've missed anything. I would hope that listeners would just kind of come and see who we are. It's interesting that a lot of people when they see Mountain Ops, they sometimes they'll think we're an apparel company because we sell some pretty cool apparel.
Yeah.
Compared to most supplement brands, it's a significant portion of our business. The shirts and hats we sell, to me, that just speaks volumes to the brand itself and what it means for people to wear it. And we've got hundreds of thousands of walking billboards out there that have paid to wear the brand, so it helps with brand recognition and it's getting out there. But once they kind of dive, I always say like once you look beyond the mark and you find out what we're doing, there's something there that most people can attach to, whether it is in the outdoor hunting, you know, endurance, fitness, or if you're big into charity work and you're looking for an opportunity to get involved in a community that's doing something pretty incredible. You're
Right.
looking to conquer some challenge you're facing in life, or you're trying to achieve things, and you need just an ability to connect with a community that will rally around you and support you along that, that's Mountain Ops. We've got a Facebook group that's a private group, but anyone's invited to it. We just accept you if you abide by the guidelines.
Yeah,
But that group of individuals is so encouraging of each other, and the amount of good that's coming out of that and people's lives being transformed. And we've just kind of helped establish that and built the infrastructure around it. And now all these people are supporting each other. So we've got everyone from people that are just getting off the couch and trying to find a way to move to guys like you that are crushing Colville and they're doing the Moab 240 or the Bear 100. Like we've got
yeah,
everything in between. And so I would say we're not like a, hey, we're this exclusive elitist hunting. Like, no, we want to influence people's lives. And the more people that we can have come with a positive attitude, just enhance the ability that this brand has to change lives. And so um, we would love for people to just look a little bit beyond the mark and see
right.
who we are, see what we're about. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I first saw the name with the ops in it, I was thinking a military angle there. Have you guys really gotten approached the military community at all?
yeah. We have a special ops program on our website that military tactical law enforcement officers can attach themselves to and get an incredible discount. And so we support them in that way, and we try to support their efforts as much as possible as well. We obviously appreciate what they do for us and our country and our ability to exist as a business, and so we're trying to give back in that way as well. A lot of times people will see this; it looks like a military shield.
Right.
And so, we'll be at an event or whatnot. People come up and say, "Hey, thank you for your service." And I haven't served in the military. I've served a mission for my church and this and that. But I hope that we represent those that actually are representing us well, and we do have programs to support them. And so it definitely is a segment of our business that's super meaningful and something that we're growing right now.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. So, again, so Mountain Ops, mtnops.com, is that right?
That's correct. Yep. And
Okay.
same thing on social media. It's just MTNOPS.
Gotcha. Okay. Any place else that people can follow you out there?
I mean, just my own personal name, Trevor Farnes, and they can connect with me on social media or LinkedIn under that
Okay.
and see what we're up to. And yeah,
All right. I'll have all those links in the show notes, of course. But I'm excited to try your products there, and I would love to be able
yeah,
to represent your brand as well. But yeah, I mean, here I'm an ultra guy. I can go ahead and test
I
it
can't
out.
wait to send you some so that you can
Yeah.
test them out and give us your feedback on it. So we've had a lot of great feedback from guys like you, and I would love for you to have the same experience that they're having.
Awesome. Well, I got a kind of a rugged month ahead here in July. I'm
Yeah.
just going to be going kind of bonkers here. Nine,
Wow.
my goal is 9 hours of training every week. And
Wow. That's
and
awesome.
then I got the 100 miler coming up the third weekend of August. So
So cool.
here we go.
Well, best of luck on all that. And yeah, let me get you some stuff so you can test it on some of your runs and make sure that it works well for you for game day.
Yeah, appreciate that so much. Thank you. Well, good. Well, hey, Trevor, thank you so much for your time. And this has been a great treat to talk to you. I love the mission of your company, and everything about it is just so positive. I like your upbeat attitude as well. It fits very well with my mantra, which is always be positive. So,
Awesome.
very cool. Thank you so
This
much
is
for
an
your
honor
time
for
here.
me to be here. Appreciate you taking the time to have me on.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Guy.